Hey, happy New Year's, everyone. I hope you had a safe and happy holidays. As we all know, this is the start of a new year. Or is it?
Oxygen levels.
Oxygen levels are at 100% jet ready to dive.
Set a course to dark waters now.
Just a reminder for anybody that didn't know, in 1582, Pope Gregory XIII changed the calendar to a Gregorian calendar. Originally, the new year started in April, and the Gregorian calendar started it in January 1st. For hundreds of years before this occurrence happened, it was a 13-month calendar, based on the cycles of the moon. It doesn't make sense that January would be the start of the new year, when in the spring, April, is when everything starts to blossom and grow. In Ethiopia, they're in the year 2017. Yeah, you heard me correctly. And us, we're going into 2025. The only reason is because they still follow the 13th month calendar. It's also important to mention that the first Bible in Africa came from Ethiopia. And that whole stigma about April 1st being April Fools ties into this. Me personally, I believe that the new year starts in April around that time, because this is hibernation time. This is get in your crib and run for cover. You can feel the changes in life. You can feel a new spark once spring starts coming around. We're on a biological clock and people seem to forget that. Question everything.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Matter of fact, I want you to prove me wrong. January is not the real New Year. The real New Year is in March, specifically the spring equinox. That's when the calendar actually makes sense. That's when nature resets. That's when things start moving again. January, that's just vibes and paperwork. It's cold. It's dark. Everybody is broke. Everybody is tired. Everybody is lying to themselves about going to the gym when you know you're not. That's not a fresh start. That's recovery. The spring equinox is when the days get longer. The sun comes back, the energy shifts, and the world literally wakes up. Ancient civilization knew this. Astrology knew this. Nature knows this. Only modern society said, nah, let's start the year when everybody is depressed. So all these fake deadlines and fake January New Year's resolutions, this is why people quit everything by February. You're trying to reboot your life in survival mode. March is when momentum actually exists. Plans stick. Habits form. Energy lines up. That's when you build. January is just for thinking. Save the real goals for March. That's the real New Year. That's the real reset. I'm out. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Is it March or April? Which one is it? And I felt that when he said we had to meet all these deadlines. Man, I used to hate doing inventory in the factories. You got to count every single piece. You know, the only good thing is they gave you guys pizza, you know, after the higher ups then went through it all. All right, my man is about to break it down. So sit back, get you something to drink, because we're diving deep on this one.
Calendar is not quite right. We're supposed to have 13 months of 28 days, with one day, the day of resurrection, Easter, as a neutral day. That's our 365 days. We've actually got 13 constellations, not 12. This same calendar is very close to the Mayan calendar, but it's also very close to several ancient Sanskrit calendars. What does sept mean? Seven. I thought that was the 9th month. What does oct mean? What does nov mean?
Oct means 8. Like an octopus.
What does dec mean? It's supposed to be the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th month. Jan is 11. Feb is 12. March is 13. April is our first month. Babies are born in the spring, the 1st of April, Easter. This is the start of our new year. This is the start of spring, when the flowers start coming up, the grass starts coming up, the trees start leafing out, the babies are born. That's the first day. Our neutral day, day 1. the day we rest and celebrate the resurrection, the new beginning, the beginning of Christ. April is month 1. And then we lost a month in there. Where is it? What's it called? We know what it's called. I'm not going to reveal it yet, but we know what it's called. But this is the true calendar. The Gregorian calendar is SMU. Shit made up by man. To keep us out of our natural cycles. We all vibrate at one of 3 frequencies. Did you know that?
That biological clock. Are they throwing us off on purpose with all this daylight savings time? And, you know, it's not the right month. You know, we're just getting jerked around, spinned around, all different types of ways.
Okay. 432 hertz is the God frequency. That's the celestial frequency. And we have a telestial and a terrestrial frequency. Darn right. She says that why when people are true, we can feel it and we can sense it. We know that it's right. You know, we don't even have to research it. We know, we can feel it. We feel it in our bodies and our spirits and our souls, and we know it's right.
By the way, 528 hertz is the love vibration or the DNA healing vibration.
By the way, 528 and 633 and 432 are our 3 frequencies, okay? So it depends on whether you're celestial, telestial, or terrestrial. That's 60. 60. Well, what is, 5G. What is our clocks been running at? 60. All of our electricity, 60. We've been under Satan for a long time. This is a satanic frequency. It's really celestial, telestial, and terrestrial, believe it or not. Our church teaches us as 3 degrees of heaven, but it's really our 3 frequencies. Our soul.
Bobby Boucher mama was right. On Waterboy, you remember Bobby's mom? She tried to tell y'all.
Our energy, the energy holds our minerals together, which is our bodies. Our bodies are nothing more than the dust of the earth, held together by energy, by our souls. Our calendar is not quite right.
He didn't say the 13th day. I mean, the 13th month or the missing month. I believe it technically goes in between June and July. And it's called Sol. S-O-L. That's the theory anyway. If you heard something different, drop it in the comments below. We're all learning together.
That is a big tree stump. Dave, tree stump or no?
My vote, it's a tree stump. A petrified tree stump.
Tell us what we're looking at over here.
I really think you see these light shades of grass. This, I mean, I use a chainsaw and I cut my own firewood. That's what this looks like to me.
Looks like petrified.
Yeah, it's like wood. It's like wood. You guys think it looks like wood a little bit?
Yeah.
It does look like wood.
Do you think this looks like a giant tree stump? You don't think so? I mean, I'm not saying it.
I mean, it looks like a rock. It goes through the igneous formation, then the metamorphosis. So, technically, what our science books say.
Is it one? But do you guys think it looks like one?
Does that look like petrified wood?
It does look like petrified.
Okay. No further questions. No, just kidding. No, yeah, it does look weird though.
You know, I talked to a couple people about this, and I was like, Chuck, those are rocks. I'm looking at them like, no, it's not. It's not rocks.
Have you heard of
Yeah,
Devil's Tower?
yeah, Devil's Tower. Yeah, that place. Does that look? That looks like a tree stump.
We haven't been
Oh, you guys have been there? Oh gosh, I gotta go.
there. We want to do the part southwest.
The top literally looks like it's been perfectly cut, like a giant tree stump. Really? Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right, David. So you conquered the trail. The trail to Pilot Mountain.
Pilot Mountain.
Is that your conclusion? Is it a mountain, or was it a mountain? Has it always been a mountain?
I think it was something else. My best guess is it was literally a giant tree. You know, it was a giant tree stump someone cut it down. Obviously, you know, one of the fallen angels or giants cut it down.
Or was it one of God's angels? Because I heard potentially that it was God's angels chopped them down so they could not escape the flood.
Yeah, that was how many trees was it that the God's angels cut down?
I think some people speculate. I don't know if it says exactly, but there was 200 watchers. Maybe the 200 trees represented the 200 watchers.
I think it did mention 200 trees, but we don't know.
All right. Well, one way to look it up is called Mesas. So let's look that up real quick. Fire Marshal Bill, let me show you something. The scientific name for those tree stumps are mesas. M-E-S-A. We got mesas across the world. So if you want to find all of them, you got to type in mesas. For them saying 200 though, that is a lot. That sounds about right. Ooh, this one? This one right here? Yeah. How do you think they did it? Was this some type of flaming sword and they just came through? How big were the fallen angels? You know, were they our size? Were they giants? What type of weapon they used? Was it solar energy? So many questions. You know, sometimes when I walk around outside and I see a lot of similar trees, it makes you think, what if all these trees are connected? Like, especially if it's the same species. Like, say it's a walnut tree and there's like 4 or 5 walnut trees in like a 20-foot radius. Could all those trees be coming from one mega tree deep underground? It makes you think. Because those roots go deep.
Well, if that was one of the 200, probably that would have been a massive tree.
That
leave a stump like that.
That would have been a big. That would have been a big
I saw a
one.
lot of evidence of cut wood, so I feel like it was a giant, tree at some point that was cut down. But then there was also evidence that it could have been a structure, like a massive building of some sort or a fortress.
Right. What if it's possible that it was in the ancient times it was a tree, but then maybe in more recent times it was.
Yeah, like
a bit of both.
A bit of both.
I could see cities living in those mega trees. Like before they were cutting down, like I bet you each one of those trees probably had a name and it was a city. Airships flying all into, oh my goodness. Could you imagine the view from the top of those trees? You know, people think they got views now up in their top level of their house. What's it called? The penthouse suite, the top floor. You know, imagine the view coming from the top of one of those biblical trees. Man, that would be a sight. People could probably live in there their entire lives. If they're able to grow food on those trees and stuff, they would never have to come down. You know? It's crazy to think about those mega trees and what they once looked like. One of my favorite topics.
Here's an actual photo of a human pig chimera at 28 days. Things that were happening in the days of Noah happening right now, because we are getting really close to the return. The enemy is doing so many things as they know their time is limited. They knew that when he was here. They knew they had a time, those unclean spirits, and they are making these monsters, and they are allowed to do that now. I can only imagine the things they are going to create, because the same entities that created all the corrupt flesh before the flood, they are still around to this day, those unclean spirits. Of course, the fallen were bound, but the unclean spirits learned some lessons, and they are teaching them to mankind. They knew how to do a lot of things back then, and they need approval, of course, now, they say.
If you think about, like, all the Egyptian gods, this is a crazy theory, but stay with me. Egyptian gods. Here they are. Like, look at them. You got one made from, it looks like an owl. You got another one made from a cat. That's it, a cat. Thoth, a sand crane. I don't know. Isis might be normal. Osiris. People theorize that people's skin used to be green. That's a wild one. Look, we got Horus, another bird. You know, Anubis, you know, a jackal. You know, these could have been genetic experiments. They could have been really good at it back in the day. The first people to start doing genetic experiments. They could have been the first. And could you imagine, you know, the first creations? It was like, all right, we're gonna make a cat with a girl, and you know, she walking around Egypt, and everyone like, man, this gotta be something we gotta worship. I could see it going that way. It's just a theory. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. And then you got so many other crazy critters like mermaids, you know, sirens. What were there? What's the thing with the hooves that walk around? Satyrs, you know what I'm saying? They could have been really good at genetic manipulation back in the ancient days.
And the guy, Juan Carlos, guess what he did? He asked Pope Francis back when he was alive for his blessing. And guess what? It said that Pope Francis personally blessed his cutting-edge research to mix human cells into animal bodies. You heard about before, we talked about this in another video, the dire wolf that they allegedly brought back.
I remember that. The dire wolves. Featured on the Game of Thrones.
And no, they didn't bring it back. They just genetically modified a gray wolf and named the puppies, the wolf pups, after Romulus and Remus, of course, the founders of Rome. Or I guess Romulus was the founder of Rome. He killed his brother, kind of like the Cain and Abel story. Romulus kills Remus, and Mars was their father.
This doesn't make me feel too great looking at this. This is low-key disturbing, this image.
That's why we have that obsession with Mars. The other wolf was named after the woman in a show who is friends with a dragon. Khaleesi, if that's how you say her name. Never watched the show, but that is what they...
I did, and it was hard to get through. I fast forward a lot of parts. They need to make a show. They need to make like a Netflix that takes out all the adult scenes. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody want to see all that. I'm here for the dragons, you know, the fire, the sword clanging, you know, all that extra stuff. Y'all can miss me with that. You know, it gets out of control nowadays. And it sucks that it's for the fantasy stuff that I like, but you know, I just keep the clicker on hand and I just fast forward as soon as things get heated up.
Named these creatures after these demonic breeds that they are bringing up in these last days. And so I wanted to point this stuff out just so you'll know what is going on in the false science world. They are actually corrupting flesh just like they did back then. It's not going to be a flood this time, but the firmament is going to open nonetheless. And this time it will be our Messiah returning. Hallelujah.
So he's not buying the, what's it called? The, Satan's little season. He's saying he's still returning. This is the Founded Earth Brothers, by the way, if you want to check them out. Very interesting content they've been dropping. But I do wonder what they would have to say about Satan's little season, like what they think about that. Do they think we're in it or what? I'd love to hear their views on that.
Don't be deceived into celebrating this false pagan demonic ritual that they call New Year's tonight. This is the ancient pagan celebration of the Roman pagan god Janus, which is why they call the first month January. It's a two-faced deity that they created.
Damn, I did hear about Janus. I remember using Janus on Smite when he had the time. I should have seen that one coming.
And partaking in this celebration is opening up doors to unclean spirits into your life. The Hebrew name of month number 1 on Yahuwah's Hebrew calendar is called Abib. It actually means fresh, or young barley ears, or green ears of grain. That freshness.
You don't hear too many people say Yahuwah. Even when he said that, I believe the Father's real name, I started getting goosebumps because, not too many people say Yahuwah.
Symbolizing the springtime, when new, fresh things start springing forth out of the earth, when tons of beautiful flowers start springing forth out of the earth, when lots of new baby lambs are being born. This is the new year. It's in the spring, right after the spring equinox, according to the book of Enoch, chapter 72. This demonic celebration is basically...
He said, Enoch chapter 72, say less. And again, if you do check out the book of Enoch, I recommend the R.H. Charles version. I'm going to try to pinpoint where he's talking about the months. Oh, okay. It looks like verse 7. And it was the fourth portal from which the sun rises in the first month are the 12 window openings from which proceeded a flame when they are open in their season. When the sun rises in heaven, he comes forth through that fourth portal 30 mornings in a succession, and is set accurately in on the fourth portal in the west heaven. And during this period, the day becomes daily longer and the night nightly shorter to the 13th morning. So they knew about daylight savings time, way back. The entire chapter 72 breaks it down. We may need to go live and take our time on this and really dissect this.
A satanic energy harvesting ritual. That's why they have everyone participating in it. They're opening you up to unclean spirits because you're celebrating these false gods unknowingly. And you're actually opening up an unclean door for these demons to enter your being, your temple, which the Most High created for him to dwell in. He wants to put his spirit of truth in us to lead us into all truth, and so that we can lead others into all truth and be a light to those around us. But if you continue to attach yourself to these pagan traditions, you're never going to experience true deliverance, true freedom, and true relationship and connection with the Most High Creator, Yahuwah. If you want to celebrate New Year's, start keeping Yahuwah's calendar, the Creator's calendar, and observing his feast days. This will bring true joy into your life, and true clarity, and true freedom, and true deliverance. Come out of Babylon. There's only two paths. There's a path of life and a path of death. The path of life is the narrow way that leads to life. And Yahusha said in Matthew 7, few shall find it. The wide gate that leads to destruction, where many people are entering through, is equal to what the world is doing. Your path, if you are truly following the Messiah, your journey, your path should look different than the entire world. If you get invited to these celebrations in your family, kindly say no. Share with them why. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. We fear Yahuwah. We don't fear man. The Father is trying to separate us by his Spirit, not the Holy Spirit that they have in these churches. I'm talking about the Ruach HaKadosh.
That Ruach. This Holy Spirit.
That is Hebrew for the separated spirit. He's trying to separate us. It also can be translated to the called out spirit. He's trying to call us out of the world. If you keep celebrating these things, then you're still part of the world. And if you're a friend of the world, you're an enemy of Yahuwah. You adulteresses, do you not know that friendship with the world is hostility toward Elohim, the Creator? Therefore, whoever chooses to be a friend of the world renders himself an enemy of Elohim. This is Leviticus or Uyakara, chapter 20, verse 22-23. You shall therefore keep all my statutes and all my judgments and do them, that the land whither I bring you to dwell therein spew you not out, and you shall not walk in the manners of the nations. which I cast out before you, for they committed all these things, and therefore I abhorred them. He wants us to stop walking like the ways of the other nations and start walking like Yahushua walked, the Messiah. 1 John chapter 2, verse 6. He that says he abides in him ought himself also to walk even as he walked.
You know, I know a couple people, that might be the first time they might have heard Yahuwah and Yahushua. Yahuwah is God, and Yahushua is Jesus. So, like, when you hear people say Yahuwah, they're talking about God. When you hear people say Yahushua, they're talking about Jesus. A lot of people that say that, they believe if you look, a lot of people that say this, the message they're trying to get across is if you look deep enough, then you will come across these names. The way I can describe it, one way you can find out Yahushua is getting a Strong's Concordance. Which I have right here. I believe I got it bookmarked. And I believe it is on page 3059 or 109 in Hebrew, and it is on the number next to it is 3091. So guys, just showing you if you ever want to look at it. And we keep going down, you could see Yahushua, and his name is mentioned 218 times. So in the King James Version Bible, you see Jesus, it'll probably be 218 times. When people originally found the Bible, it was a Dead Sea Scroll. I could be wrong, but this is how I believe it went down. When people found the Dead Sea Scrolls, this was the language they had. When you properly translate the Dead Sea Scrolls, this is the name you get, Yahushua. You know, people will hit you with the J was created 500 years ago. You know, before it was Iesus, then it went to Jesus. So like, if you go like as far back as you can, you will get Yahuwah and Yahushua. You know, I'm no teacher, but I'm just showing you the information and why people say that, you know, and I personally believe, you know, those are the two names. That's as far as back as you can go, and those are the two names. But again, everyone's on their own journey. You know, you may already know this, you may come across this or do your own research. I'm just telling you, this is what they saying. And I personally believe myself that this is what it is. If you go as far back as possible, do your own research on everything. Don't take nobody's word for it. Now, I'm going to screenshot 3091, and we're going to compare that to my ISR. This is my ISR. This is my Bible. KJV will get the job done too. You know, I like the KJV and the ISR. ISR stands for the Institute of Scriptures Research, and they replace the name every time you see God or Jesus. It replaces it with the ancient Hebrew, like the literal name. Here, let me show you. You can see every time the word God pops up, you'll actually see the YHWH, the Tetragrammaton. Here's in Psalms, you'll see the Tetragrammaton. Again, I believe the Tetragrammaton is the YHWH. It's been a while since I've been on my research, so I could be wrong. I need to double check this. Let's type it in. Tetragrammaton. Okay, I was right. You guys see YHWH. So when you see this symbol right here, that means YHWH. And I believe YHWH appeared before Moses during the burning bush. So that's something else to think about. I believe it was I am who I am. That's what it revealed through the burning bush. So when we go to Psalms, you could see the YHWH, the Tetragrammaton. Now, when we go to Yahushua, let me go to the New Testament. This is something in Matthew. Mattathias. Doesn't Mattathias sound better than Matthew? You know, Matthew's a good name too, but if someone's saying Matthew or Mattathias, you know, it's like something strong. And I believe Mattathias, like each name means something beautiful too. Like it's a beautiful meaning behind it. Like Yahushua. Like I forgot what it means, but it's along the lines of, you know, like I love my father, you know. But anyway, getting back to it, you can see right there, that's his son's name, the Tetragrammaton, and then that's the son's name. This is in Matthew, by the way. So when people say Yahushua, they get that from going back as far as back as possible. You know, Yahuwah and Yahushua, when you hear people say that, they're going back in Paleo Hebrew as far back as possible. And this is the connection right here. Again, the Strong's Concordance, 3091. 3091 is telling us that Yahushua popped up 218 times in the Bible, the original Dead Sea Scrolls. The KJV is a translation. The ISR is a translation. Like the only way to really know the truth is to be able to read the Dead Sea Scrolls. You know, do your own research on everything. You know, that's just me just sharing the information of why you may hear it. And you're like, why are these people saying Yahuwah and Yahushua? Well, now you know. And guys, I just want to apologize. I'm just doing my best to try to show you guys, if you will. So bear with me.
We're supposed to be walking like Messiah. Messiah, Yahusha, was not keeping any pagan festivals of the nations. He was keeping the feasts of the Most High. And he was separated from the world. And we're supposed to be following him. If you're following him, you should be doing what he's doing. So this is a call to repentance. Hey, if you celebrated your whole life and this will be your first time not doing it, hallelujah. He's merciful. Much love to you, family. May Yahuwah lead you into all truth. Remember to stay vigilant. Stay in Palal to Yahuwah, which is petition or prayer. Stay in his word. Keep seeking the narrow path. May Yahuwah barak you with wisdom and truth. Shalom, shalom.
Now, in my opinion, you should never mock God. And this lady decided to test him and tell him to do another lightning strike. If he's really there and listening. Now, what happened next? Is God really listening? Or in my opinion, you should never mock God. And this
All right, gang, it's that time of the day again. If you thought you weren't going to get another excellent specimen of the day, think again. Stunning. Like almost like a petrified firework. Like a blue firework that just freeze framed. This is called satellite blue argonite clusters, naturally formed. I need names, guys. What would you name this? If I had to call this something, if I had to name this specimen, I would call it the Arctic tree branches. That's all we got for today's video. If you made it this far, the code word is New Year's. Go ahead and drop New Year's in the comments below. When you do that, that shows me you made it all the way through the video and you really rock with your boy. And I just want to say thank you so much for an amazing year. 2026 is going to be even greater. I got a lot of stuff planned for you guys. A lot of stuff I got in my back pocket. I can't wait to show you guys, and it's going to be very exciting. Again, I love you guys. Thank you so much. This was the most mysterious TikToks on the internet today. See you later.